Shalom, 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 yasha. This is your boy, Brother Shamu Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, Is John the Baptist Elijah? And I put yes and more, right? First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, right? That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi, right? And the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who have ruled well to the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this 100% truth, this 100% doctrine to the four corners of the earth in these last days. Almighty Shalom. All right. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Is John the Baptist Elijah? And it comes from, once again, the article from Patheos. And it says, Is John the Baptist Elijah? It says, comparing Matthew 11 and 14 and John 1 and 21. Right? It says, Yahawashi claims that John the Baptist is Elijah, who was to come in Matthew 11, 13 through 14. But John himself denies that he is Elijah in John 1 and 21. So who is right, right? And we're going to kind of go into that, okay? We're going to go into it, in, one of my favorite topics, talking about regeneration, okay? So I'm not really going to go into the this article right here, but I like the question, so I want to kind of get into it, okay? Lord's will is edifying. When you go into the prophecies, it talks about, and I'll get it right, this is the book of Malachi, right? Chapter 4 and verse number 5, right? And when you read this, this is the last few verses before you get to the New Testament, right? So, and this is the thing, right? Because this is, they put the paper that says New Testament, but it's this book flows, right? There's not like okay, but I guess you could say it's like if this is the Most High's movie, it's like cut scene, here we go. You know what I mean? But in all actuality, it flows together, right? So this is the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 5, right? And it says, Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. So, and guess what? We know that the day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has not come upon us, right? So this is a future prophecy, right? This has not happened yet. Okay, this has not happened yet. All right, because it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah." Now, first, before I get into this, right? This you got to put how I explain, you got to put your thinking cap on this one, right? This is, we're going to be chewing on a little steak today, right? This is not milk, so, and a lot of people, are not going to understand that. They're not going to get this. Okay. So just forewarning, right? So the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 5, Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, right? So this is a prophecy, right? And this prophecy actually has not come yet, right? And we're going to get into that, right? But it says, and he shall turn the heart, or Salakia. Let me rephrase it. It has happened, right? And we're gonna explain it. Salakia. Let me rephrase my word. Salakia. So it says, Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Now, the dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has not come upon us, but Elijah the prophet has come. Okay. And it says, verse 6, and it says, And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Okay, so this is a prophecy, that Yahawashi was going to send Elijah before the great and dreadful day of Yahawashi. Okay, so and like I said, we know that the day of Yahawashi has not come upon us as of yet, right? So this part has not been fulfilled, but behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great day, the great and dreadful day, right? That has already happened, right? And well, like I said, we're going to get into that. Okay. So, first off, we must understand, and Salakia, this thing is, going to start tripping, but Lord's where we're going to work it through. Okay. So, first off, what you must understand is the concept of reincarnation in the scriptures, right? Reincarnation in the scriptures. So I looked up the definition of reincarnation. I want to get that, right? It says the rebirth of a soul in a new body, right? So if you can't understand this, then you're not going to get any of that, right? You're not going to get any of what's going to be said right now, right? So you have to understand that reincarnation is biblical. Okay, it's biblical. All right. Um, Now it says a person or animal in whom particular soul is believed to have been reborn. Right now, we understand that reincarnation is not talking about you die and you become a rat, right? Or like Hinduism says, or something like you become a cow, or no, right? When you die, right? And the scriptures talk about it. Actually, we're gonna get it. Okay, we're gonna get it, but like I said, but just understand that reincarnation is biblical and it's throughout the scriptures, right? And you really have to have the eye salve, and you have to be given this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to even to grasp this, right? Because the thing about it is, what's funny is we sat in church and we've read about Elijah, and Yahawashi telling the disciples that indeed that John the Baptist was Elijah. Okay, so let's get that part real quick. Let's see, is it this one? So I got them called all scattered around. So Salakia, I no, that's not it. No. I'm not gonna pull it up. Salaki, and I'm talking to myself. All right, so we need Matthew 11, which I did not pull. Salakia. So let's pull that real quick, right? Because the article talked about, or so they say, between what John the Baptist said and what Yahawashi said, right? What was that, Matthew 11 or 21? Salaki, if I didn't get it, but we'll find it. Let me see. Let's see, what was it? 11 and 14, Salakia. All right, let's go to okay. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 7, right? And so this is what they were talking about, that there was a miscommunication, right, between Yahawashi and John the Baptist, but there was none, right? Because we're gonna break it down through the scriptures, right? So this is Matthew chapter 11 and verse 7, it says, Yahawashi tribute to John. And it says, and as they departed, Yahawashi began to say unto the multitude concerning John, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they that wear soft clothing are in the king's houses, right? Because John, I think the scriptures talk about that he wore like camel skin. You know, he was out in the woods. He was eating wild locusts and honey. You know what I mean? So, you know, and that's the thing. Like, our people are always looking for the most elaborate and, you know, the most elaborate and most I don't even know the word. You know, just like even in the Israelites, right? They're looking for the one who had, you know, with the shiny gold and the fringes down, and that's what they're looking at, and they're thinking that that's the best, and that's not, right? Because they're looking on the outside, they're not looking on the inside, you know, through the spirit. And Yahawashi tries the spirit. Okay, so it says, but what ye went out to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet, right? It says, for this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face to prepare thy way before thee, right? And it says, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he is the least in the kingdom of heaven. He that is least in the kingdom of heaven shall be greater than he, right? And that's just talking about just because when we are in our right estate, we're going to be just, that's how powerful, because John the Baptist was a powerful, you know, Elijah, right? They were, you know, when you read the scriptures about Elijah, you know, being translated, you know, beamed up into a UFO, right? You read about the things he shut up. I believe he shut up the heavens so it wouldn't rain for 3 years, right? Okay, I'm talking about mighty, right? So just think about how mighty we're going to be, you know, when we have our new bodies, okay? But it says, for all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. It says, and if you receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come, right? So Yahawashi is telling you that John the Baptist was Elijah. He said, let me get it in red letter so there's no confusion, right? This is Yahawashi speaking. And he said, for all the prophets in the law prophesied until John, right? Because John came preaching, Yahawashi came preaching the kingdom of heaven, right? Whose shoes he was not even worthy to unlatch, right? He knew, right? He said, I must decrease that he may increase, right? He knew, right? When he was in his mother's womb, and when Mary came around, right? The scriptures talk about it. You know, he was doing flips in his mother's belly, you know, with the Rawchaa, Qadash, with the Holy Ghost, right? And so just even think about that, you know, just off topic, but you know, when Mary came around, when she was pregnant with Yahawashi, John the Baptist, right, was flipping in his mother's stomach with the Rawchaa Qadash. But you don't say that, oh, did the Rawchaa Qadash, you know, get, you know, her pregnant? No, you don't say that, but you say it about Yahawashi, right? That's just another topic. But anyways, so it says, and if you receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. So Yahawashi is telling you that John the Baptist indeed was Elijah. Okay. But what you don't understand, you know, because when you go to when you go to the book of John, right? One, when they asked John, right? In verse 21, it says, and they asked him, what then? Art thou Elijah? And he saith, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, no, right? So John the Baptist answered no. When they asked him, are you Elijah? He said, no, he wasn't, right? But he said, I am, when you jump down to verse 23, it says, he said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of Yahawah, said the prophet Isaiah, right? But they asked him, are you Elijah? But why would he say he wasn't? Right? Because you have to understand reincarnation, right? In reincarnation, the scriptures talk about regeneration, reincarnation, right? It tells you, right, when we go to the book of Psalms, right? Matter of fact, here, let me get this one, right? This will just cut it straight to the jugular, right? So understand reincarnation is real. And this is why, this is, has a lot of good information. It's called the hidden books, but this was actually in the first original King James Version Bible, okay? And it was taken out. All right. And understandably, because some of the stuff that's in here is plain upon tables, right? Especially this one right here. So this is Second Esdras in the Apocrypha, chapter 2 and verse Salakia. Second Esdras chapter 14 and verse 35, right? And it reads, it says, for after death shall the judgment come, right? So it says, after death shall the judgment come. What judgment, right? It says, when we shall live again, then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Right? What is that talking about? Right? It's talking about reincarnation, right? Because you don't just die and then that's it, right? What happens is when you die, your spirit goes up, right? Up to the into the fourth heaven, right? Or the fourth dimension in the spirit world where Yahawah dwells. Okay. So when you die, your spirit goes up to the heaven, right? To heaven where Yahawah is. And from there, you receive your judgment. If you were righteous, righteous judgment. If you were unrighteous, unrighteous judgment, right? So when you think about regeneration, you think about what happens, right? Matter of fact, let me see. Let me just read this, right? So it says, for after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Okay. Now let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes real quick. And verse number 16, right? So it talks about after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. So where, right? Because when you die, like I said, your spirit goes up to the spirit world, right? You get judgment for what you've done on this earth, and then you come back on the earth. And the scriptures tell you every 3 to 4 generations, right? That's why Yahawah Bahasham said, I will visit upon their children unto the 3rd and 4th generation, because ultimately that's when you come back onto the earth. So really, you're getting yourself judged. If you have ears to hear, you understand what I'm saying. Okay. So it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 16, it says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Well, what's under the sun? It's the earth, right? The earth is where you play out your judgment that you receive in heaven after you die, right? Because all spirits of, all men are, human spirits, they go up to the earth. Up to the heaven, right? They get their judgment, and then they come back down on the earth to play out their judgment on the earth, right? So it says, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 16, it says, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. It says the wicked was there, and the place of the righteous, that iniquity was there. Okay. So this is, your judgment gets played back out on the earth, right? So understand that reincarnation is a real thing, right? So, but the thing about it is, when they asked John the Baptist, was he Elijah? He said no. But why is that? Okay, because understand, when you get your judgment, you come back on the earth, right? Then you play out, right? And so this explains this. This will help you understand why people are born, blind, like the blind man, right? When the disciples asked Yahawashi, well, who sinned? He's been blind since birth. Who sinned, him or his father? Because they knew regeneration, they knew reincarnation, right? So they asked, did he sin or did his parents sin, right? And is that why he was born blind? Well, obviously, if he was born blind, then how could he have done anything? That's because he lived before. So he was we're talking about reincarnation. But remember, Yahawashi said, neither him nor his parents, but so that the will of the Heavenly Father may be done, right? So it was done so that, the miracle could be done, right? I'm just paraphrasing, okay? So understand that, once you die, you get your judgment, you come back on the earth, and you play out your judgment, which is under that place that's under the sun, which is talking about the earth, okay? And so when they asked John the Baptist straight up, are you John? Are you Elijah? He said no, because when you go to the scriptures and you go to the book of Psalm, chapter 6 and verse 5, it says, for in death there is no remembrance of thee, and in the grave who shall give thee thanks, right? So understand that when you die, right, and you come back, you don't have a remembrance of your past life, right? Now you see some cases of it. You see people talking about, little kids, talking about, hey, I came back and you were I seen a video where the little kid was talking about, he told his mommy, hey, you were my mommy before, and I had to come back here, and through you, you know what I mean? But he was talking about reincarnation. Okay. So, but for in death, there is no remembrance. So John the Baptist couldn't remember that he was Elijah. So he was being honest. He's like, I know, right? Because just imagine if we knew who we were in our past lives, how boastful would we be? How bugged out would we be, right? Imagine if you were Judas Iscariot in your past life, in reincarnation. You know what I mean? You'd probably be trying to jump off a building every chance you get, right? Or imagine that you were Job, right? You'd be running around here boasting, talking about your Job, right? So, in death, it basically wipes your slate clean. You come back on the earth to face out your judgment, but you have no remembrance of the former things that you've done. Okay? So it says, for in death there is no remembrance of thee, in the grave who shall give thee thanks? Okay? So when they asked John the Baptist, was he Elijah, he gave him a clear answer. But Yahawashi clarified it and told you that no, he is Elijah, right? Because Yahawashi knew, right? Yahawashi had all the understanding. He has a spirit without measure, right? So he had, he had that spirit that of understanding, right? Remember, and if you have ears to hear, you understand that Yahawashi through reincarnation was Solomon, okay? And he was also Isaac, right? And he was also Melchizedek, right? And he was also Adam, okay? But you have to have, like I said, this is staking. You have to have understanding and understand what's going on, okay? So when they asked Elijah, was he John the Baptist? He answered them correctly because he had no remembrance. He had no remembrance of the former things, okay? And Yahawashi talks about reincarnation, right? And it, regeneration, right? So when you go to this is Matthew chapter 19, verse 27, right? Because this is after the rich man, he just couldn't give up his goods, right? And they were asking, well, what shall we receive, right? And here it is right here. This is Matthew chapter 9, verse 27. It says, 19, verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Right? And it says, and Yahawashi said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, right, or reincarnation, um, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also, right, now this is future prophecy, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So he's telling them about reincarnation. Guess what? What you're going to get, because you follow me, you're going to get, to be able in the future in your reincarnation, you're going to be able to sit on the 12 and on the 12 tribes, 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes, right? So, and we know this is future prophecy. This was thousands of years ago, right? But guess what? It's because through reincarnation, regeneration, like the scriptures say, right? It says in the regeneration, right? So in the reincarnation, when the Son of Man sits on his throne, because that hasn't happened yet, right? And you remember he said, some of you shall not taste death, right? And he was talking about reincarnation or regeneration because, of course, they died, right? And there's books and stuff that talk about how, a lot of the disciples died, right? So obviously they're not still alive, but guess what? They're reincarnated and they're back here on the earth. And I'm gonna get a scripture to prove that to you too, right? And it says, and every one that have forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake, right, shall receive 100-fold. And it says, and shall inherit everlasting life, right? So understand that, right? Not only the disciples, right, but those who follow. But ultimately, reincarnation is for all men, right? It's part of this earth, right? When you just think about how the earth works, right? And I always explain that, you have water. Water is in a lake or something, right? The sun comes, it evaporates. You learned it in school. It evaporates up into the clouds, and from the clouds, the water goes up into the clouds, comes down when it's full of moisture, comes back down into the lake or whatever, and it's a repeated cycle, right? The same as your soul, right? Your soul, your spirit comes down to the earth, right? And once your body or your flesh dies, your soul goes back up to the earth. I select you back up to heaven, right? And then comes back down into a new body, right? Dies, goes back to the earth. Your spirit goes back up to heaven, right? And it's a cycle, right? It's a cycle, and it's called reincarnation. And this is how the earth. You see how the earth works, right? You burn grass. You see a forest fire, and the grass burns. And what happens? Everything is burnt and black and done. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Green grass grows again, right? So what more, the things of this earth, okay? So Yahawashi talked about regeneration, right? So it says, verily I say unto you, you, Salakia, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And this is once again why I say, the Apocrypha is a hitter because it has a lot of, good, right? Chapter 1. And I'm going to go down all the way towards the end. Let's see. Let's see. Let's start at verse number 35. Let's see. Here we go. Let me see. Yeah, let's start at verse 35, right? Second Esdras chapter 1, verse 35. It says, your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them. It says, they have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. And this is what's happening right now. Right? This prophecy is happening right now because, as according to the book of Deuteronomy, right, in the land of your captivity, matter of fact, let's see if we can get that. Let's get that real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30. All right, so it says restoration from the past when all these things are come upon thee, right? So this is a prophecy. It says the blessing and the curse, right? Right now we're in the curses. It says, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where Yahawah Shai have driven thee, right? Let's go back to that real quick. It says, where was I? It says, they have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. Right? They're remembering who they were. We're remembering who we are. Right? So it says, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether Yahawah Shai have driven thee, and shall return unto Yahawah Shai thy power, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, and thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Okay, so this prophecy is happening right now. Okay, and that's also according to Second Esdras, right? That they're calling to remembrance their sins. You know, like, oh, I'm an Israelite. Hold on, man, I was out here eating pork, doing all this stuff crazily, you know, and understand that, right? And it says, and acknowledge them. It says, I will take to witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with their bodily eyes, right? Because we haven't seen, you know, Yahawah Shemashai with our bodily eyes. It says, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say, right? Because we believe. What? Why? Through faith. Through faith we believe, you know? Through faith we believe these scriptures. We believe in reincarnation, right? We believe that we were our forefathers. We were the, you know, ones out here acting a fool, okay? It says, and now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that come from the east. It says, unto whom I will give leaders, right? Now, this is, you know, remember now, Abraham and Isaac, this we're talking about in the book of Genesis, right? And this is in the Apocrypha, this is talking about, this is Second Esdras, right? So it says they're going to give out whom I will give leaders, talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hosea, Amos, Micah, Joel, Obadiah, Jonah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, which is called also the angel of Yahawah Shemel Shai, right? So these folks in the, you know, the scriptures is basically telling you that these folks will be back here on the earth, right? These same prophets are going to be back here on the earth. And I'll give you an example of that, right? It's the book of Daniel, right? Book of Daniel. It says, but go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of thy days, right? And this is talking about Daniel, right? So it says, but go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and shalt stand in thy lot at the end of thy days, right? This is talking about through reincarnation. You're standing in your lot because the scriptures tell you that a prophet is subject to a prophet, right? If you were a prophet from before, you're going to be a prophet, throughout your reincarnation. You're going to be a prophet, right? That was your lot that was given to you, right? So you continually stay in your lot as a prophet, right? If you're a teacher, right? If you were a wicked, you probably your lot is continue to be a wicked. You know what I mean? But you stand in your lot, and it says at the end of the days, right? And the end of the days have not, as of we're close to the end, right? Which is actually just the beginning, because the beginning ushers in the reign of Jacob, right? According to Second Esdras, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? But it was told to Daniel to stand in his lot until the end, right? To rest, right? Because when you die, the scriptures tell you, talks about slumber, talks about sleep. It's a lot of times talking about death, right? And then you come back on your lot. You come back as a prophet, okay? And the scriptures just told you that those prophets are going to be back on this earth, right? All these prophets here are going to be back on this earth, right? So understand that, okay? So when John the Baptist, said that he was not Elijah, well, because the scriptures tell you that there is no remembrance of the former things, okay? And so I also labeled this, is John the Baptist Elijah? I say yes and more, right? Because reincarnation just didn't happen and now it's over. It's still happening. And I also explained to you that part of, let's get this, Malachi, right? Chapter says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawashi." Now, this right here, technically, well, it happened, but it didn't happen, right? Because this was talking about a future prophecy. Okay. So Elijah, of course, yep, he was there when Yahawashi was there, right? But of course, through reincarnation, it says before the coming of the great and dreadful day, right? So this is talking about a future prophecy, right? So after Yahawashi went up to the spirit world, this is talking about another thing, right? It says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahawashi." And indeed, Elijah has come again, right? And he that have ears, you got to be able to hear. And I'm going to show you this man right here, right? This is Abba Bivens, right? This is Abba Bivens, who we believe was Elijah or John the Baptist, right? And what happened when he came, right? This was back, let me see. I don't know if I have the information on here, but he was one of the founders of the One West. Okay. 69, he came, and this gospel was starting to be preached. This understanding, where people were starting to wake up and be refreshed. And there's a prophecy. Salaki, I don't know where it's at, but it talks about where it talks about 350 years, right? That Elijah is 350 years, and then like basically the children of Israel shall wake up. Don't quote me on that, but when you go to 1969, right? Let me see, Salakia. When you add up or you subtract 1969 from 1619, you have 350 years. Okay. And that was according to a prophecy. I just can't remember what it is, right? So Salakia for that, right? So, but if you have ears to hear, you understand that this gentleman, through reincarnation, that this is talking about Elijah right here. This is Elijah, right? Or, who Yahawashi said was John the Baptist. And he came, right, to bring us back, bring the fathers back to the son, right? So this is this right here, right? This is Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. It says, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day, right? And this is Salakia. This is the fulfillment of that prophecy right here, right? Where Abba Bivens came, in the 60s and started to, give us the understanding, that, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Israelites, right? And started to, get us, this is when this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding started to take off, okay? And from there, from the One West and all that, and to where we are now, where the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is out here, right? Where the prophets are out here, and that's the returning the fathers, right? Let's get that again. Let's go to that. It says, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, right? And that's what's happening, right? Because we're coming back to who are our true identity, right? According to Deuteronomy 30 and 1 to 3, right? We're going to call into remembrance in the land of our captivity who we are, right? Understand, hold on, we're Israelites, and we learn that, through the unicorn, right? The unicorn is talking about, the internet. Through the internet, it has been pushed. This gospel has been pushed in this true 100% doctrine, this true form. And you see now the prophecies are coming to play, right? But this right here was played out, was played, up to this part, because now we're waiting for the great and dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi to come, right? Because Elijah indeed has come, right? And if you have ears to hear, you would understand that it was talking about Abba Bivens, okay? Through the Spirit, we have understanding, and through our faith we believe, right? People didn't stop reincarnating, so guess what? We understand that through reincarnation, that King David, right? King David was Peter, right? If you have ears to hear, that King David was Peter, and Peter is King Marsha, right? Who was also in the One West teaching, right? We have understanding that through reincarnation that these are these people, okay? So reincarnation continues to happen. It didn't just stop because it told you that you were going to have these prophets back here on the earth, right? Now, for most, do we know who they all are? No, we don't. You know what I mean? But we have understanding, because we understand that when Abba Bivens came, he came and he started to bring that understanding of us back, right? So we understand that this was Malachi, 4, 5, and 6, being prophesied. Okay. So now we're looking for that great and dreadful day of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, but we know that there's still other prophecies that must take place, right? You have the Jacob's trouble, you have the MOTB, you have World War III, and then you have the return of Yahawashi, right? These are the things that are pretty much left, of that understanding, okay? And so this is what we're out here preaching, right? Through reincarnation, all right? Or regeneration. So like I said, Daniel, Daniel was part of it. I'm gonna give you another example too, in the book of Revelation, right? With John the Revelator, right? And when you read it, let's see, let's start at verse 9. Matter of fact, let's start at, so it says the angel and the little book, okay? And it says, let's get to it. Here we go. I'll just start at verse 9, right? This is Revelation chapter 10, verse 9. It says, I went unto the angel, and I remember when you have the history of John the Revelator, he was, put on the island of Patmos, right? and there's no records of him leaving Patmos, the island of Patmos, right? So he was on here. So this is why you have to understand reincarnation. So Revelation chapter 10, verse 9, it says, "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter." Right? And that little book was this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, was these scriptures. Okay. And when he ate it, that means he devoured. That means he intook it. He, digested it through his mind. Okay. And that's what we have to do. We have to eat this book, right? Like in the book of Ezekiel, it says, eat the roll. We have to eat that roll, right? And what that eating that roll is to read, to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. So it says, and he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book, right? So John the Revelator took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter, right? And the angel, this is the angel talking to me, and it said, he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So when did this happen? Right? If he never left the island of Patmos, it's talking about in reincarnation. Okay. Right? Was his name John? No, it wasn't. Just like Elijah's name wasn't Elijah when he came back. His name was John the Baptist. Right? And when he came back again, his name was Abba Bivens. Okay. So understand, and there's no remembrance of your former life. Okay. The former things that you did. Right? But through the Ruach HaKodesh, like it said, I'll bring all things to your remembrance. We remember these scriptures. We have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? But we don't know who we are, who we could be. Lord's will, we're part of that number of the elect, of the chosen, right? That's what we want to be, But understand that, So he said, and he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings, right? And when did he do that? If he never left the island of Patmos, right? So it's talking about reincarnation, okay? So you have to understand and know what reincarnation is, and understand that it is biblical, okay? And understand to get that John the Baptist was Elijah, okay? Because Yahawashi confirmed it. But also, the reason why John the Baptist denied that he was, because the scriptures tell you that there is no remembrance. How bugged out would you be if you knew, your past lives and the things that you have done? You know what I mean? A lot of stuff we probably ashamed of. Who knows what we did in our past life? That would be, man, that would just be crazy upon us. Okay, so understand that. Okay, so both answers were true, and we just show those through the scriptures. But you got to understand reincarnation, and understand it is biblical in order to get this, right? But understand this is not for everybody, right? And I want to get this real quick. This is Matthew chapter 13 and 11, and it says, He answered and said unto me, matter of fact, let's get it red letter so you know. So it says in the answer, let's go to verse 10. Matthew chapter 13, verse 10 says in explanation, says, and the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Right? So many people can't grasp this because they can't really, it wasn't given to them, right? It wasn't given to them to understand what this was about. Okay, ultimately, what this was about. All right. Let's see. And this is why, I'm gonna read it back on. So it says, and if Matthew, this is Yahawashi when he was talking about that John the Baptist was Elijah. It says, and if you received it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. He that have ears, let him hear. And what is he talking about? You go to Matthew 13:11. It says, and he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. It says, matter of fact, let's jump down to verse 13. It says, therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Right? So most people can't understand because they haven't been given that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that takes us also to let's go to one of my favorites. Now we'll probably close it out on this. Like I say, this is one of my favorite, topics to talk about. And Salaki, you get kind of long, but reincarnation, regeneration. There's a lot more scriptures that I could have pulled, but for time's sake, and I didn't want to do all that. But this is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7, right? So if you can understand this, then it was because you were given that understanding. So Romans chapter 11 and verse 7, it says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for. Right? Because everybody's trying to obtain and capture wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But it says, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. It says, according as is written, the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. Right? So a lot of our people are still blinded, and they can't grasp, even though Yahawashi clearly told you that, John the Baptist was Elijah, they can't get it, right? Because then they go to John and they're like, well, John said he wasn't. Well, because you haven't read the scriptures and you don't understand, reincarnation, that there's no remembrance, right? In reincarnation, you come back in your nation, So if you're an Edomite, you're going to be an Edomite, right? If you're that's why, and you are who your father is. Okay. So even if nations get together, right? So you have, for an example, an Israelite man, and he gets with a Ammonite, right, or a Japanese woman, right, and they have a baby, right. That baby is going to be an Israelite because the father carries the seed, right. So that baby is going to be an Israelite. Its lot is an Israelite, right? And it's going to continue in that lot of being an Israelite. That Japanese woman, she's going to continue to be, right, an Ammonite, right, in her lot, because that's her lot, that's her nation. Okay, so understand that. So but if you don't have eyes to see and ears to hear unto this day, to get this, because like I say, it's like steak. And if you can't grasp it, it wasn't for you to grasp in the first place, right? But Lord's will for those who, held on and went through this and understand, hopefully you got edified with this, with that, right? I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kohol Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, peace and blessings, right? To the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, a mighty shalom to the 144,000 men, right? Those that are singing this true song, right? Without, fault, right? And to the rest of the elect, stay diligent, stay focused, keep praying for one another, and keep praying for the downfall of this place, man. Keep praying for the downfall of Babylon, man. May this place go down, and may Yahawashi continue to flush this thing down the toilet, and raise up the kingdom of Yahawashi, okay, and the children of Israel, right, and bring us back into our true power, starting with the elect on down, okay. And with that, I want to say, Shalom.